Hey everyone, welcome to part 3 of this Baldur's Gate 3 trophy and achievement walkthrough. I don't have much in terms of an introduction for this episode. Let's just get right into it by opening up our map, and we're going to go over toward the overgrown ruins, and we're going to fast travel over there to get started. Once we're there, we're going to be right by this big door here. I would recommend saving the game first, and then you can use Astarion to try to pick the lock. So we have a difficulty class of 20 on this skill check. We do have a lot of bonuses, so let's go ahead and give it a shot here. So we'll roll the dice and see where we end up. And I got a 1. So that is a critical failure. It did not go well at all. So I can try again using up another one of my thieves tools, and that's why you might want to save it beforehand, because this is difficult. If it doesn't work out well for you, you can always just reload that and then you can try again. So here we go. We are able to barely get it. Even though I only rolled a 5, with all my bonuses, I do succeed in opening up this ancient door. So we can go inside, and this takes us into the Dank Crypt. Now you want to proceed very carefully through here because there are tons of traps all over this place. So walk very carefully around this area. We are in darkness, so our vision is reduced, but we do have a character with dark vision, so we can see a little bit further than normal through here. And there are a good number of things that we can collect along the way, so always be looting around here. You can hit that R3 button, push in that right analog stick, and you'll be able to see things around a little bit easier as we go. So one thing that you might want to do if your character gets too close to one of the traps, just to switch the character and then move them out of harm's way. You do not want to be stepping on any of these traps through here. Well, let's keep going. There is a very large sarcophagus in the middle, and we will open that up in a little bit. There is a trap over it. You can see it's highlighted in orange right there. So I'm not going to unlock this trap just yet. I'm going to do that a little bit later on. I don't have any trap tools to disarm it. I'm going to get some of those a little bit later on. So we're just going to keep walking through this area, and what we want to do is go through the big doors on the end here. So keep walking forward, and then we'll go through these heavy oak doors. Let's keep going through into the next room, and if we go over toward the right side, there's going to be a gilded chest over here, so let's go open that up and see what's inside. There's going to be a ruby ring. Let's go ahead and pick that up, and now we can keep going around exploring this room. There's a door on the opposite side that's locked for right now, but it will become unlocked in a little while. So instead, what we're going to do is go through this heavy oak doors on this side of the room too. It's locked, so we can use our lockpick again to try to open it up. Here we just have a skill level of 10 for this door, so let's roll it. It's pretty much impossible for us to fail that based on all of our bonuses here, so we definitely succeed on this one, and we can head on inside. So we use up our thieves tools, and we're able to go inside. So as we walk forward, you can see a big statue on the far side of the room. We'll just walk over toward this direction and see what we have over here. So there's a couple things of note in this room. If you go over toward the right side, there's going to be this big opening. You can go down there. There's a ladder that will take you back outside, but we're not going to do that just yet. Instead, we're going to move down into this lower level here. So there's a staircase right next to us, so we'll just go around here and then walk down. If you want to, go ahead and explore the plaque around here, but the inscription is in a language unknown to us. And on this side, there's not a whole lot that we can interact with, but you can go around to the other side of the statue, and there's going to be a lot that we want to do. So over here we get a perception check, and you can see that we find a button over here. So let's push the button. Well, that's bad news. We get outmatched in this fight. So there's a lot of enemies, and we are a little bit lower level than what they are. There's a lot of them too, but we're going to use a little bit of trickery in order to succeed in this battle. So what we want to do is first take a quick look at these guys. They're level 3, and we're only level 2, so they're a little bit stronger than what we are, but we can hide from them. What you want to do to be able to make all of your people hide is to just press down and hold down on the direction button, so not the joysticks or anything like that, just the button itself, and you're able to tell everyone to get down. We're going to crouch because the enemy doesn't see us right here, so we're going to hide from them. We're out of their view, and they're not going to do a whole lot because they don't really know where we are right now, so we get to do a sneak attack to get a better start off to this fight. Okay, so our monk has really good movement, so what we're going to do is just kind of move people up. Now, unfortunately, I can't get around my current characters, so I do need to move them around. What you'll notice, though, is on the top of the screen, there's all the portraits lined up there. When your characters are together, so the different blue outlined characters are together, you can switch back and forth between them, and you can really take your turns in any order. So go ahead, switch around, and move a character out of the way if they're currently in your way. If there is a red enemy in between any of your characters, then you can't do this. You can't skip the turns or go in whatever order you want to. You got to be only together as a team in order to switch turns like that. So what we're going to do now is just go in order, and we're going to move over just to the outside of this red area. That's the enemy's detection radius. We don't want to be in it. We just want to be very close to it right now, and that way we're able to move up, and that puts us into a better position so that we can attack the enemy the next turn. Right now, the enemy believes that we are where those ghostly silhouettes are in the bottom left corner of the screen, so it's not expecting us to do an attack right here. So let's go ahead and do a ranged attack and see what happens. We had the advantage, we get the hit, but unfortunately it's only at 2 damage, so not too great, and we lose our hiding status. Just on Lae'zel, all the other characters are still hiding. Well, that's about all that she can do for this turn, so let's skip it and then go to the enemy's turns. Well, now they have a good idea for where Lae'zel is, so they're going to start dashing in and see if they can get attacks in against us. Well, now a lot of our people have been spotted, so unfortunately they can really see us now after that one moved into detection range, and they're able to start casting a bunch of spells against us. Well, now it's the monk's turn, and we have a couple choices. We can either attack the enemy who's right up in our face, or we can use the superior movement to go around and attack the enemy up higher. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run around toward the top part here, and I have a really good chance to attack him. I want to use the flurry of blows. That pretty much guarantees that I'll be taking this one out, and we're able to run around there and then give him a double punch, and he's out. So that did a lot of damage against him. I only needed 7 damage and I did 24. So monks, pretty good when they're unarmed like this. Now it's Astarion's turn. We're too close to do a ranged attack against this guy. We'll have a disadvantage. So instead we're going to use a main hand attack, just a melee attack, and we can do some pretty good damage against him just fighting him this way. So let's go ahead and attack him. We do a total of 10 damage against him. He's only got 7 health left. Now it's time to switch over to Shadowheart, do 6 damage, leaving him with just 1 health left, and we will switch over to Lae'zel, and she's going to bring the pain with the main hand attack and finish this guy off. Okay, that was a big, very unnecessary critical hit, but I'll take it. You know, it's better than a miss. Get a couple frost rays coming our way, doing a little bit of damage to us, and we do luckily get a miss on this one. And at this point, the enemy is just getting really into position so that we can kill them nicely. Once again, we're going to use our amazing mobility with that monk. We're going to run down here and take out this entombed scribe in 1 hit. And now we still have a lot of movement left, so let's go and use our bonus action to do another unarmed strike against this guy, and we'll take him out as well. Now that just leaves the one enemy right here. If we had a little bit more movement and another action, we probably could have taken this guy out too. Unfortunately, we don't have that, so what we're going to do instead is just move another character up and do a little bit of damage here. So we want to get on the high ground here, so we're just going to move Astarion up a little bit higher so that we can take a shot from the little bit of a advantaged platform here. So we're a little bit higher. Let's go ahead and switch to a ranged attack and shoot an arrow down at the enemy down below here. So with the high ground advantage, we'll take the shot, finishing him off, and that'll end the fight.
Fools, rising from the dead just to protect some dusty old baubles.
Looks like Lae'zel is ready to level up. In fact, I probably could have done this before the fight, at the beginning of this video, but better late than never. Let's go ahead and level her up from here. We now have a level 2 fighter. We get a health increase as well as the action surge, which allows us to immediately gain an extra action to use this turn. That's pretty nice, so we can attack and then use that to attack one more time. So kind of like our monk, we can get 2 attacks in. Okay, so now we're going to switch back to Astarion, and if you want to, you can use a short rest that just heals you up a little bit. So if you took any damage in that fight, go ahead and rest up, and then you can keep going up around here. We're going to go into that room that we opened up with this button.
A lot of effort to hide one sarcophagus.
Now let's go ahead and open up the sarcophagus.
So he has spoken, and so thou standest before me, right as always. What a curious way to awaken. Now, I have a question for thee. What is the worth of a single mortal's life?
Quite the question. What's the reason for it?
Curiosity. Nothing more. Wilt thou answer my question?
Yes, ask away.
So, I ask again, what is the worth of a single mortal life?
Because we're an elf, we can say, some mortals live much longer than others. I can't compare them.
It is mortality. Just the same. Very well. I am satisfied. We have met, and I know thy face. We will see each other again at the proper time and place. Farewell.
So that old raisin-looking dude is named Withers, and he's very important for a couple trophies later on down the road. He will eventually join your camp all by himself, so you don't technically have to do this section. However, it is good to go here. You can get a lot of valuable things. You can also, just get him early so that he'll go back to your camp without the randomness of you having to wait for him to show up whenever he shows up. So you can force him to join your camp a little bit earlier just by coming down here. And you get to do this kind of cool fight and everything and explore the world a little bit more. So I do recommend coming down into this section, which is why I wanted to show it to you in this guide. Now let's go over here. We can pick up the heavy key from this guy, and once we have that, we're just going to run over here and we can open up this gilded chest back here and we can get a little bit of gold out of it. Now on this side of the room there is going to be a door, so we're going to run past these opened up sarcophagi, and there's going to be a door right here. Let's open this up. Now this room has a couple interesting things in it. There's really nothing on the right side or the back portion of the room, so don't worry about that so much. Instead you want to head over toward this wall, and there's going to be a heavy chest on the ground that you can open up. And inside of it you can see the scroll for protection from evil and good. On the shelf on this wall, right in between the candles and the damaged vase, there's a book. It's called the Book of Dead Gods. I would highly recommend switching over to Shadowheart and having her read the book.
This book is far lighter than it should be with such a massive lock.
We're going to use Cleric Wisdom, channel a spark of divine power into the lock. Now we have a skill check of a value of 10. We're going to go ahead, use our advantages here, and we're able to roll and get what we need in order to open up the book.
As the lock opens, a loose page comes with it. Magic pulses from the parchment. What was once script is now an obliterated scrawl. You have a sense these are names, a list. But of what?
We can use our religion to examine the book more closely. And now we have another skill check of 10. Let's go ahead and roll the dice. Now luckily we have a big advantage of a +4 modifier to our religion proficiency, and that's going to be enough to get us to where we need to be to succeed in this.
Gods. These are the names of gods, once lost but now restored after the Second Sundering. Entire pantheons have dwindled and been reborn, silently recorded by this book.
And we get an inspiration point. That's really cool because if we fail a skill check, we can use that inspiration point in order to try again. And we also get the scroll of Ray of Enfeeblement for doing that. So that's a nice little thing that we can do. Unfortunately, we missed the investigation skill check there. Not a big deal though. We got what we wanted for this section. And now what we're going to do is to head back over and across this area. So let's move over and we're going to head out kind of the direction that Withers went. He went down across through this big opening here, and we're going to follow him out. So now that we're down here, what we're going to do is head over toward the right side. You can't go toward the left or anything. It looks like you maybe can, but you really can't. And instead what we're going to do is go around toward the right side, and there's going to be a lever that we can pull, and that's going to drop a ladder, which will take us back up to the top side of this area. We're now outside at the chapel entrance. There is a hatch right next to us. That's how we get down to the bottom part if you ever need to do that again. Otherwise, we can run up here and then use the knotted roots to climb up to the higher level. There's going to be some balsam on the right side here. Go ahead, pick that up, and then you can hear some people talking nearby. So we're just going to follow the path around, and we're going to, go over and see what all the fuss is about.
You both twice as tall as me, but have half the bloody backbone.
But we don't know what that thing even is. And what about the crypt?
I'm telling you, it's a ship. And the crypt can wait. Mari and Barton have been trying to break in for days. Now we... Stop! Got ourselves competition already. That's our ship.
Let's use deception. I think that ship's an invasion force. Run while you can. We have a skill check looking for a value of 12. Let's go ahead and use our deception proficiency bonus and some guidance in order to roll the dice, and you'll see that we got a 16 here, +4, and another 4 is 24. Double what we need. That's a success.
Well, in that case, come on you lot. No point in getting killed. Second worm gets the cheese and all.
Second mouse gets the cheese, no?
Nobody's getting any damn cheese! Now move it!
You may have noticed that Shadowheart approved when we were able to talk our way out of that problem. So she typically does like it if you were to use your persuasion or deception in order to get through situations versus just being mean or fighting your way out of it. So always make sure that you're using your mind instead of your muscles to get through things if you want to raise your affection with Shadowheart. We can see up ahead here that there's a big block that is held up by a little bit of rope. So what you can do here is just run up here, and you can climb up or jump up to the top section here. And what we're going to then do when we're up top is to shoot the coiled rope at the top. It only has 1 HP, so a ranged attack from Astarion is good enough to take that thing down, and that big block is going to fall down onto the ground and smash its way right through the ground. When that heavy stone falls down through the floor, that creates a one-way trip down into the lower area. Now, you can't get back out that way, so I'm going to show you a different way to get down in there that will allow you to get back out. What you can do here is run over here. There's going to be a wooden crate. You can grab a couple of supplies in it. And now we're going to head back down to that lower level. So go over toward that big hole in the ground. If you get caught in some vines, no big deal. You can just break free in a minute. So here's that big hole. You can either jump down inside of it, or you can just run around. And we're going to go to the wooden door way at the far end here. So just keep running down to the end of this area. There's a ladder if you want to climb up to that upper area for some reason, but we're gonna go talk to this door here.
Why do you give a look? Everything all right out there?
Deception. Gimblebach triggered some trap. He needs help now. Now we have a score of 10 for the skill check. Let's go ahead, use our advantage, and then roll away. We got a 10, and we're gonna get it boosted even further, so that's definitely a success.
I told it it wasn't safe out there. Get inside and I'll rustle up some bandages.
And we get the charlatan inspiration. So by using a little bit of trickery, we get another inspiration point and 25 experience. Well, now we get inside and we're immediately put into a fight against this guy who's surprised. Now, when an enemy is surprised, he can't attack or react during that first turn, so we get a whole turn with all of our characters to do kind of whatever we want to against him. So we're just going to attack him and take him out before he can really do anything against us.
Shall we dance?
On my way. I will ascend.
And there you go, a very easy fight. We took no damage, and we got 2 level ups out of it. So both Shadowheart and Astarion are now eligible for a level up. So let's do that. We're going to start with Shadowheart. She's now a level 3 cleric. We get some more health, as well as a level 1 spell slot and a level 2 spell slot. So now we can do stronger magics, and we got a whole ton of spells available to us as well, including Aid, which heals our allies and increases their hit point maximum by 5 hit points. That's really nice, and you can see all the spells there. So now we're going to move on, and we're going to look at what bonuses Astarion gets for becoming a level 3 rogue. At this point, a specialization becomes available where we can kind of get bonuses for one type of sub-job. We also get more health, a level 1 spell slot, and the mage hand, and some new cantrips and spells that we can learn. So the subclass that we can look at is either a thief, where we get fast hands to gain an additional bonus action, and second story work, where we gain resistance to falling damage. We can get the Arcane Trickster, where we can use magic, or the Assassin, where we get the Assassinate abilities. And these are really nice too, because we get advantages to surprise enemies, or if we're hiding from them and they don't expect us, then we can do bonus damage either in close combat with melee weapons or ranged. So they're all pretty cool in their own ways, but I think what I'm going to do is to focus on the Assassin for this, and we're going to take advantage of those bonuses a little bit later on. So now that we're down here, we're able to kind of explore this area a little bit. So go ahead, run around to loot what you want to. There's a looter's trunk right here. So we're going to then open this up, and we can get some good stuff inside of it. Have a look around. There's a whole bunch of, cheese wedges and things like that. Those are all camp supplies that you can pick up. A supply pack. These are all very useful if we're going to do long rests inside of our camp. And then if you see any books lying around too, go ahead ahead and read all of those things as well, because we have to read 100 different books or different pieces of literature throughout the game in order to get a trophy. So always be exploring and always be reading as you go around here. Well, up here there's going to be a lever. We're going to go ahead and pull that, and then what we can do is open up this door, and we see that there's a battle on the other side of it. So get ready before you go into here, and now you can see it says Assassinate Initiative. That means that we get a bonus. We get the advantage for attacking him like that. So we can do that, and we're able to then kind of hide around the corner here. I'm just going to kind of peek my head out, take a shot, and then hide behind here so that they can't really see us, and we really want them to kind of come toward us as much as possible. I really do not want to run out into the middle of like 5 enemies and just be swarmed like that, so I'm going to take it a little bit more cautiously. So much of the battles in this game is about just maneuvering and being in the right spot. So speaking of the right spot, we're in the right spot to cast a firebolt on this oil barrel. It's going to hit it, make it explode, and we pick up a kill. We put a bunch of fire on the ground, enemies are being hurt by it, and now we can safely retreat behind the wall here. So we're just going to chill out right here, end our turn, and now what we can do is take Lae'zel, and we're able to take a shot on this enemy right here. So we'll use a ranged attack, 65% chance of hitting it. Let's go ahead and give that a go. We get a good hit for 6 damage, and now we're just going to run around behind the wall here and wait. So the enemy now has the turn. It's going to attack us a little bit and then just kind of hang out back here. The other enemies don't really know what to do back here. They're kind of cut off, so they can try to buff themselves or just skip their turns. Well, now it's Astarion's turn, and what we're going to do is to go over and start attacking these guys. So we can pop out and attack them, and this one has a 75% chance to hit with a ranged attack, so we'll take that shot and take him out. And now what we're going to do is to hide from the enemy, and we're going to try to sneak around here. So we have the cunning action hide, we can get down, and now we can sneak around just to the other side of the wall, and they don't really know where we are, but we're just going to hang out right here. As for the monk, we're going to be able to run forward, but not quite enough normally in order to hit him. Instead, what we can do is also go into hiding, and what we're going to do is then sneak around the wall and just try to keep out of their sight as well. Too bad for me, the enemy has dark vision, so he actually could see me even though it looked like he probably couldn't. So I got spotted, and the enemy knows where I am. Now at Shadowheart's turn, I don't have quite enough movement to get close to him, so instead what I'll do is just kind of hang out behind the wall here and then just pass my turn. Let's move Lae'zel over, and we're able to get a ranged attack in on this guy. Unfortunately, it misses, so we're just going to skip the rest of that turn and let them have an opportunity to attack us. The enemy is slowly getting into a good position, just kind of all bunching up like that. So I'm going to take this opportunity to do a main hand attack with Astarion. It's a 75% chance of hitting at this point, so I can go over there and see if I can stab him. And I connect. That's 6 damage for him. Not a whole lot that I can do at this point, so I'm just going to disengage as a cunning action, and then I'm able to run away without triggering any opportunity attacks from the enemies. So now that I'm a little bit ways away, I can then use my monk to run over there, and we can attack the enemy just using unarmed strike. So there's a couple enemies around here. Let's go ahead and attack this one, finish him off, and we do have the resources of a bonus action to try to do another unarmed strike against this guy, but all I hit is air, unfortunately, so that one didn't work out so well, but we can do a little bit of redemption here. Let's bring in Shadowheart a little bit closer. Now, she does not have a ranged weapon like a bow or anything. However, she still does have a little bit of magic left over, so you can see her spell slots in the bottom. She has 2 more usage of a spell slot 1 spell, so let's go ahead and attack the enemy here. I'm just going to attack Torga. And we get 4 damage off of him, so not a bad firebolt, and we can just end her turn. So now what we want to do is to bring up Lae'zel, and we're able to take a range shot. However, we do miss there, but we just got this new ability called Action Surge, giving us another action attempt. So let's use that, and we can do another ranged attack and fire on that same enemy, and this time we do connect, and that's going to be another fatality for the enemy. And there's just one enemy left. So let's go ahead and move up Lae'zel just a little bit here into the middle, and then skip the rest of the turn. Well, the enemy tries to attack us, but he misses, and it's not going to end well for him at this point because we have our nice assassin Astarion. He can come right behind the enemy and then use cunning action hide to get the advantaged attack on him because now we're hiding. He doesn't know where we are. We'll use sneak attack melee to do bonus damage against an enemy when we have the advantage, and he's gone. So there you go. You can kind of see some of the new abilities that we have. Pretty cool. And we're able to now pick up some things off of the dead bodies here. You don't have to collect the books, but you do want to be reading them as you go along. So as long as you read them, you don't have to add them to your inventory or anything like that. Now you may notice that two of our characters, our monk and also Lae'zel, they now qualify for a level up. So we're just going to finish up looting all of the bodies around here, and then we're going to level them up. Alright, looting's done. Let's level up our monk. At level 3, our monk gets a specialization, so we can move into a subclass. We get more health, an additional key point, as well as the deflect missiles ability. That is really nice because it allows us to potentially lower or completely negate all the damage coming to us from a ranged attack like an arrow. And depending on what we choose, we can also get some new spells and things. So of the 3 choices that are available to you, I would really recommend going with the Way of the Open Hand. It's got Flurry of Blows Topple, so you can knock guys over or stagger, you can daze them and stun them, or you can do Flurry of Blows Push, where you actually push them around to 5 meters away. So we're able to move the enemy around and kind of put ourselves into a better advantage, all the while doing some really good damage. So we're going to go ahead and lock in the Way of the Open Hand and keep on going. As a level 3 fighter, Lae'zel also gets a new specialization, so we can choose a subclass and we get more health, as well as depending on which of the subclasses we choose, we can get superiority dice, which basically just give us a lot better attacks, and those do get expended but then refilled once you do a rest. And you can also get new spells, so looking at the different things we have, there's the Battle Master, there's the Eldritch Knight, which then uses a lot of spells, so kind of like a Mystic Knight or something like that, as well as the Champion, someone who can use improved critical hits. So if you are rolling for a critical hit, the number required to get that hit is reduced by 1. So all 3 of these are really good in their own way, and I think what I'm going to do is just stick to the Champion. I just like that improved critical hit ability, but you can see there's just a whole lot of things that you can do, different maneuvers and things. So go ahead, choose whatever one you want to. I think I'm just going to stick with the Champion for this one though. So let's go ahead and lock that in. And we also get a new spell along with it, to which allows us to jump. It actually, for 10 turns, allows anyone that we choose to have increased jump distance. So that could come in handy later on if we want to really pair it with our monk. We can get some amazing maneuverability by jumping really high or really far with things like that. Well, now that we're all done, we're just going to do a little bit more exploring down in here. We can run into the other rooms and we can look into things, trying to find new clothes or new gold, anything like that. So run around here, we're just going to loot this room. There's nothing really necessary that we need in this one in particular. So once you've finished exploring it, we're just going to head back out into the next chamber. Okay, now that we're back in the main hallway, there is another door across from us, but it's locked. And strangely enough, we can't lockpick it or anything like that, so we do have the ability to attack a door, but it's too sturdy for us. We don't do any damage to it. So you get a little pop up there saying that some objects are unusually strong and you can't destroy them. So there's no way to get through this door right now, but I'll show you exactly how to do that in just a moment. So in this next room, there's a ton of things to read. Remember, we do want to be reading 100 different books throughout this playthrough. So take a few moments in here to just read the books and the plaques, everything. It really goes a long way to building the world as well, so you can learn a lot about the, overworld culture and everything like that. So, if you are interested in the lore of this game, this is a really good room to help to piece together some of those things. So I'm going to skip ahead now to the next section after I've done some exploring. There's going to be this big statue in the room and a plaque right next to it. What you want to do is go behind the statue, and there's going to be a lever back there. If you get a perception check, it makes it very easy to see exactly where that thing is. Remember a moment ago where I showed you that door that we just couldn't get through no matter what? We couldn't lockpick it, we couldn't break it down. Well, that lever opens that door for us, so we want to head the direction that the statue's facing. We're going to go up the stairs, and when we get to the top, there's a door. We'll go through that door, and then on the left-hand side is going to be now that door that was locked. It's now standing wide open for us. So let's go ahead, go through here, and that's going to take us from this room where we are in the refectory over into the Dank Crypt. So this is where we found Withers earlier. We had that fight against all of those undead enemies right up in this area. So we've really connected those two areas, the refectory and the Dank Crypt. So now we can go back and forth between these areas whenever we want to. So with that out of the way, now we're going to continue on with our journey. Starting off, let's go forward a little bit, and then we're going to go over toward the right side. This will eventually lead us to the exit, but we want to stop and grab a really nice treasure on the way. So we're heading down south, and there is this vent right in the way. It's just a trap. You can just leave it alone for right now. The game does let you disarm traps if you roll for it, but it does require a trap disarm toolkit, and I'm going to save mine because I want to go over to this large sarcophagus, and I want to disarm this one because the treasure that we want is found inside. Now this does have a dexterity check with a target of 10. We do need to use that trap disarm toolkit, but we have so many bonuses that it's practically impossible for us to miss this. So we definitely get it, and we're able to disarm this big sarcophagus trap. And now let's open it up, and you can see inside of it there's the engraved key as well as the Watcher's Guide. That's going to be a new weapon for us. Now I'm going to do a little montage of all of the equipment changes that I did for the characters. So starting off, let's look at Shadowheart. I did give her the Watcher's Guide. That's that new spear we just got. What it does is it has something called Death's Promise, and when the spear misses its target, the wielder's next attack roll against that target gains True Strike, so you'll have an advantage the next time if you miss. So that's an upgrade to the mace that she was wearing, and we have a much better weapon on her now that does more damage and has that extra ability. So if she's a little bit clumsy and misses her target, we'll get a better attack the next time around. And it's a good idea to throw on something like a short bow as well, just so that we have the ability to attack at range. So now whether the enemy is up close or at a distance, we can attack them without having to use magic or anything. We're playing as an open-hand monk, so no weapons, and we're also using really no armor. We don't even have light armor proficiency, much less anything heavier. So one thing that we can equip is the Amulet of Lost Voices. That allows us to use the level 3 necromancy spell, Speak with the Dead, so we can actually raise a corpse up and ask it a couple questions if we want to. So that's something that we can do for fun, and you can get some interesting dialogues. I do want to look at these leather gloves here, just something that it doesn't really affect us in any way, mostly just a cosmetic change at this point. So we'll go ahead and throw those things on, and I can't even wear this leather helmet because I'm not proficient in light armor, so leave all that stuff alone, and we're just going to move on to our next character, and that's going to be Lae'zel. Remember in the prologue we defeated that Commander Zalk? Well, he dropped this weapon called the Everburn Blade. It does a lot more damage than the longsword that we're currently wielding, and it does some fire damage. So that's a really nice upgrade for us. She can definitely wield the bigger, heavier weapons and equipment and armors. So if you have any of things like that, go ahead and equip them. Otherwise, we're just going to move on. On your way out, just make sure that you're looking out for traps. You don't want to run into anything. There is this button over here which I believe can disarm some traps. I'm not too sure about that though. But on your way out, there's also going to be a heavy chest over on the right hand side. Go ahead and open this guy up. There is a trap disarm toolkit inside there, so in case you need one for the sarcophagus, there it is. Always make sure that you're saving before you do something crazy like that though, just in case you fail, you can just reload it. Well, that's all that there is for this episode. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. That really helps me out. And I will see you very soon for part 4. Until then, have a good day.